What's going on, cowboy? In this video, we are going over a lot of news. We've got Hong Kong news. We've got 3AC news of like some really shady dealings that are going on there. We've got some adoption news, and we've got some big Bitcoin bottom baby news, the BBBN news, sometimes I like to say. Look, there's a lot to update you on the wild west of cryptocurrency. If you're new to this channel, my name is Aaron. I'm on a journey to my next Bitcoin while helping you to your next Bitcoin. Not your financial advisor, but if you like this video and like this type of content, give me a like button on this video and I really appreciate it. Let's get right into this news. The first bit of news here is crypto and DeFi won't disappear, says Hong Kong monetary chief. Now, if you didn't know, Hong Kong's got a really China's got a really give and take, love-hate relationship with cryptocurrency, more particularly with Bitcoin. It's kind of like, you guys know that like that couple that you don't know if they're together or separated or together or separated again, and you just keep taking them back, and because they just treat you so well. There's some volatile times. Maybe you're in that relationship. I think I see that as this. China, particularly Hong Kong. If you don't know what the Hong Kong monetary authority is, this is like the central bank over there, okay? Eddie Yu thinks cryptocurrency right here and DeFi will continue to play an important role in the financial system despite recent instability in the sector. So he's basically saying, I'm calling for regulation. I'm looking at this UST Luna incident. I don't like any of it, but even though all this turmoil, upheaval is happening, I think it's here to stay. And I think he's right. China's always trying to ban Bitcoin, ban the Bitcoin miners, trying to get rid of them. But DeFi and this technology and this new way of doing things, and crypto, he thinks it's here to stay. And this is the CEO of the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. So we're gonna see, and they're gonna watch and like tread carefully. They're gonna try to add regulation. They're gonna try to really put some parameters, put some ground rules around cryptocurrency, because it's so dangerous, especially with all these bad actors and shady stuff going on. But we'll get to that kind of news. But I think this is really exciting news. I think the lesson to be learned here is that sometimes things have a lot of volatility when it's young, like a relationship. But if you just make it through their crazy phases in the early on in the phase, like I know me, I was pretty volatile. I needed to calm down. We need time to take things to make sure they mature. And if a relationship makes it through that maturation phase, maybe there's something good on the other side of it. Maybe not. I have no idea. And that's at least how Eddie Yu is thinking from the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. Now, in other 3AC news, Three Arrows Capital as $3.5 billion in debt is spread across the crypto industry. This is ridiculous, okay? So they've basically got loans out to these other major players that they owe these people money to, okay? So this place called Genesis Asia Pacific, they owe $23 billion, okay? This is an 80% margin requirement on the loan. So whatever, I've never heard of Genesis before, but you could bet that they're in trouble. That's 2.3 billion is not a small amount of change. If Voyager was in trouble with 350 million, you better know that this Genesis Asia is freaking out right now. I got friends that owe me money. Of course, they don't know that I feel like I'm always watching them. I'm like, you better owe me, you better pay me back. When are you gonna pay me back, boy? So I think that's how they're acting. I'm like, if I'm acting that for some money, I know they're like, someone's taking some kneecaps pretty soon. Celsius right here with a loan of 75 million. They owe 75 million to Celsius. And then they've got some other people here I've never heard of: Falcon X, DRB, Panama. So there's a lot here. It's kind of like if pretend like you and a bunch of your friends were climbing up a cliff, and your friend falls off the cliff. He's at the top, right? And he falls off the cliff, and he grabs onto your belt buckle, and he grabs onto other people's belt buckles, and he's holding on. You're like, let go, we're all gonna die. But he doesn't, and instead he shakes you because he knows he's gonna die, but he wants to bring you guys down. That's Three Arrows Capital. That's how I see 3AC happening right now. They owe money to all these guys, and I think this is something that's really shady. Like all these big players behind closed doors, they're all dealing with each other. They're all the crypto industry is more interconnected than we'd like to think. We think decentralized, but no, it's still really early. and all these big players are loaning to each other, trying to make the difference on these different APYs, trying to give you pennies while they take dollars. I think it's really shady. But let me ask you something: if you had a $3.5 billion loan, like you got $3.5 billion and from people and big companies, how do you think the most responsible way to use that money? If you said buy a $50 million yacht, you would be 3AC. So this is what happened. Court filings reveal Three Arrows Capital founders Suzu and Kyle Davies may have purchased $50 million yacht with borrowed funds. Okay, so this is from Watcher Guru. At the bottom here, I don't know if you could read that, but it says, in addition to ignoring any attempts by the company's creditors to reach out to the company, Suzu and Kyle Davies had also repeatedly made a down payment on a $50 million yacht, with the yacht to be delivered sometime in the next 2 months in Italy, at which point the remaining purchase price will presumably fall due. There has been speculation that the yacht was purchased with borrowed funds. So if you've got $50 million yacht, you're not pronouncing yacht anymore. You're pronouncing it yacht. Okay, that's how you pronounce it, because you're so rich you don't have to pronounce it correctly. And you're rich off of other people's money. This is highly shady. So I don't understand this. I think the lesson to be learned here is that everyone is very self-interested. No one is out for your best interest. You have to look out for your best. You are your number one fan. You got to watch out for your backs. And if you can't trust these big players to say like, oh, we're trying to get safe. We're offering safety to you. No, okay, not in crypto. It's not your keys, not your coin is so big in this moment right here. But in adoption news, which is like both good and bad, and I'll give you my take on this. Southland Credit Union launches a mobile currency service alongside a $5 Bitcoin promotion. Okay, so here's what's happening. Southland Credit Union is a credit union in Southern California. A credit union is something like a bank, except they operate just slightly different. But they offer financial, services and stuff like that. So this one, they're offering to buy your Bitcoin for you. Okay, so it's the second credit union in Southern California area to offer cryptocurrency buying and selling services. And you could do it with them and you receive $5 whole dollars in free Bitcoin. Credit unions like Southland have an opportunity to provide safe and accessible cryptocurrency. I've heard this before. Safe and acceptable cryptocurrency for members. Okay, so let me just get this straight. This company, Southland, is offering $5 whole dollars to purchase your Bitcoin and hold it for you. I think this is so ridiculous, okay? On one hand, I like that there is adoption going on, right? Like these credit unions, financial businesses, all this stuff, they're getting into the Bitcoin. They know there's money there. I think it's pathetic that they're offering $5 in Bitcoin. Someone who's buying Bitcoin with a credit union, they probably are buying a lot more than $5. If anything, you could buy that and then like put that on Crow and then earn like percentage back. I mean, there's so many better ways to buy Bitcoin, and it's buying Bitcoin. Like you just go on an exchange, buy the Bitcoin, take it off the exchange, put it in your wallet. Like I don't understand why someone has to buy through a credit union to do that. It's like saying like you own a safe in your, like a full-fledged lockdown Fort Knox safe in your house, but you're paying someone to then buy Bitcoin and store it in their shoebox. Take my money and store it in your shoebox, or I could keep it myself and store it in my Fort Knox safe. That's the equivalent here. These wallets, it's so secure. Cryptology for cryptocurrencies, it's so secure. You should be, I mean, you don't take my financial advice. This is not financial advice, but this is like, take care of your own stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm a little split on this, right? To me, it's cool that there's like credit unions and stuff that are adopting this thing, but not this way. You could buy your own Bitcoin here. I think the lesson here is like it's just so easy to buy. Handle this yourself. There's more freedom and there's more security in your own wallet than some credit union with $5. Like $5 is ridiculous. And if anything, we're seeing these Three Arrows things play out. I mean, it's just silly to me. In big Bitcoin booty bottom news, I thought this article was very interesting. Data points to a Bitcoin bottom, but one metric warns of a final drop to 14K. So they're saying, Glassnode is saying the bear market is far from over. Now, here's the thing. When I look at these charts, I'm lizard brain, okay? I'd like to keep things simple. I thought at least this was an interesting read, but they're referencing charts and they're referencing, like, you know, the average time spent below the realized price is 197 days compared to the current market, which is 35 days on the clock. I'm sure that's like a interesting statistic. They've got a lot more here, and I read through these charts, and maybe I don't understand it all the way, but here's the thing. I do not see, this is a personal opinion, I agree with them that the bear market is far from over. I agree with them that 14K is still coming in. I don't, however, agree that it's because of these charts. I think it's two things, and you could agree with me. Let me know. Give me a 1 in the chat, or in the you know, comment section below if you agree or disagree on this point, or 2 if you disagree. But to me, I only see so many 2 indicators of where we're gonna have a U-turn. The first indicator is if regulation comes in, okay, for crypto and more particularly for Bitcoin. I think that's when regulation is established. I think a lot of big money, sovereign wealth funds, all these hedge funds, all these people will start piling in when regulation is established, when we know that a 3AC can't happen to them, okay? I think, and they would just be totally wiped out if there's no regulation. So they have to have regulation, okay? I think that's the first thing. Or the second thing is a Fed reversal, is when they start QE, quantitative easing, they start pumping money into the system again. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think other than that, I think all this is just astrology for financial bros. I think that there's a lower price to be had. 14K, who knows? I think that if you're buying anywhere between in the 10,000s to 20,000 range, I think you're getting it at a major steal. I think for right now, we should draw the final lesson here. I thought this was a very interesting interview done by Layla Heilpern. I met her at the Bitcoin conference, and she's interviewing Edward Dowd, who is a former BlackRock executive. Okay, so he did this for a living at the highest levels. Okay, and this is what he has to say about Bitcoin, and more particularly, like, where he sees Bitcoin play out, what he's seeing doing. I thought it was just really interesting, and you should give it a watch here.
And it went through unprecedented growth and speculation, and it put in a very nefarious formation, which is what we call a yearly swing high. In its whole history prior to the last 3 years, it had never done that. It had had tremendous drawdowns, but never technically put in a yearly swing high. And what that is, it's a technical formation that suggests that a major top is in. So I think Bitcoin is here to stay. Yep. If you bought at 65,000, or you're not going to see those prices for a long, long time. And I think Bitcoin has to do what lots of bubbles do. It has a blow-off top, and then it bases. And the basing period could be anywhere from 3 to 10 years. I don't know what it is. I suspect it'll be shorter, primarily because lots of weird things are going on in the world. So.
Yeah, so lots of weird things are going on in the world. He's thinking a 3 to 10 year period, but he thinks it's a little shorter than that. I think it's 2 years at least. Okay, I think we're in this thing for 2 years. But you know, what do I know, right? This is just a prediction. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin market cap and let's ride this thing out. Bitcoin is sitting at 22,600 right now. It was it's pretty high. You can see the daily chart here. You can see the monthly chart here that it's moving up and down. And of course, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is at 30. And the reason why we look at Bitcoin, remember, is because everything follows Bitcoin, okay? Just in my opinion, everything follows the Fed. If the Fed's, doing well and pushing out money to everybody, everyone's going to do well. If they're not, no one's doing well. And we can see evidence of that today. I think it's the same for Bitcoin and all other cryptocurrencies. And if you like this type of video with all this type of market updates and all that, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.